Hi guys, happy May. Welcome to Cosmic Wisdom for May 2022. I will give you some of the astrological details that are going on, but I really actually wanted to provide some questions and openings for you to reflect on your own life this Taurus season, and we'll be moving into Gemini season at the end of the month. Um, we just came through a partial solar eclipse at 10 degrees of Taurus on April 29th, 30th. So right preceding the beginning of this month, this eclipse in Taurus was really a new opening, a brand new beginning. A solar eclipse is when the sun and moon are conjunct. It's a new moon. So we just had a new moon in Taurus along with the North Node in Taurus. And the North Node is a point that invites us to challenge ourselves, to get out of our comfort zone, to do what is hard, but feels really important and necessary for our own growth and for our ultimate mission and purpose. In Taurus, Taurus really, it's ruled by Venus, which is the goddess of love and beauty. It is all about what we value and what we think has inherent beauty and worth. So Taurus relates to issues like self-worth. How do I value myself? What else do I value in the world? You know, we associate money with Taurus and possessions with Taurus because we value, at least culturally, in this culture, we value what we have. What do I own? What is mine? How much money do I have in the bank? So the North Node eclipse new moon in Taurus was an invitation to really feel like we're at a new beginning point of doing some work that may feel challenging to us, but feels important and necessary for our own growth around our self-valuing, self-worth, around our finances, and really about our sense of what makes me feel safe and secure, right? Sometimes it is the home you live in or the things you have, but what makes you feel safe and secure might be knowing, how can I rely on myself? What do I have that's uniquely mine, my skills, my resources that no one can take away from me, that I can always count on? So doing that work at the beginning of the month, and as we move through May, we have other opportunities to continue to work with this, because May is Taurus season, and Taurus season invites us to really get grounded, to feel solid, to slow down. It is a very fixed earth sign, which is slow and steady. It's not impulsive. It's not rushing in. It's not taking risks. It's really like, I want to feel secure. So I want to have a plan. I want to work things through in a way that I feel safe. So you might want to apply that in your own life, whatever is coming up for you as an issue this month, whether it's a relationship, whether it's something going on in your job, or a potential change or shift in career or living environment, something in your health. Taurus also relates to the physical body, right? Your health, your food, your diet, your exercise. How do I value and take care of myself in a very tangible and real way in my embodiment? Um, so some questions for you would be, in what ways do I actually, in my daily life, take care of my resources, of my body, of my home, of my, my finances? And if there are blind spots you have, or fears you have around that, or things that you've been avoiding and not wanting to look at or kind of get a handle on, this would be a really great time to do that work. Maybe that means consulting with a financial advisor, or sitting down to look at your budget and your spending, or, really getting out in nature and really feeling grounded and solid and at peace in beauty and harmony, and bringing some of that sense of peacefulness, groundedness into your life in a real way. Um, Going forward in the month, Mercury is going to go retrograde on Tuesday, May 10th. It's going to stay retrograde through the rest of May. It doesn't station direct until June 4th. Mercury retrograde. Some people are really scared of this, so I'll give you the kind of standard. What you hear is that Mercury is all about communication, and it's about the sharing of intellectual ideas. It's how your mind is working and processing and taking in information, processing it, storing it, putting out information. So with Mercury retrograde, there's a slowing down or a backward motion or a hesitation around communication. It can also show up as miscommunication. So you think you're getting your idea across, but actually it's leading to more confusion for yourself and others, or something is misunderstood by someone else, or there's something you're missing that or not understanding. The more positive way of thinking about a Mercury retrograde is it's a time to be more reflective and internally thinking through things before running out to speak them. So it's kind of like, let me be silent. Let me take a step back before I communicate something. Let me make sure it's really aligning with my values. Mercury is starting out in Gemini this month, but it's going to retrograde back into Taurus. And again, Taurus is my values. So maybe the Mercury retrograde going back into Taurus is kind of like, how do I align my communication and my learning with what I truly value and what is going to build my sense of security, my own resources, and create a sense of safety and security for me, right? Not to destabilize. So that's actually a good opportunity to work with that. We're coming into a full lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is when the sun and moon are opposing each other. That's a full moon. So a lunar eclipse is like a full moon on steroids. Full moon energy is about bringing something to its final biggest sense of fullness so that you can then begin to let it go, right? It's bringing something to its completion. And the full moon eclipse is happening at 25 degrees of Scorpio. There's some really interesting stuff going on in the universe on that day. So you should look at your own chart and see what you have in 25 degrees of the fixed sign. So that would be Scorpio, Taurus, where the north and south node will be along with that sun and moon. Also look at Aquarius and Leo for any important things. What's happening at this full moon in Scorpio is it's kind of like an invitation to let go of some of your past patterning and issues around power and vulnerability, around the intensity of your own emotions and who you do trust to express that honest, raw, intense feeling to, and who are you very like guarded and protected around that type of intensity that you have within you. It's also about how we look deeply and honestly at the uglier parts of ourselves in our own psyche, our shadow, as Jung would talk about, which is like, what are the things that I feel ashamed of or have some guilt around or have been a little bit like in denial around that I don't want to really bring to consciousness. The South Node in Scorpio is asking us to look at old patterns so that we can break patterns that are no longer really helpful or fruitful for our growth and evolution. So in what ways are the stories I have around my own victimhood or lack of power, or how I work in collaboration with others or in sexual partnership, because that's also very Scorpion. Whatever those past things are that need to be let go of and healed and resolved, this full moon eclipse is a really good time to kind of like do a healing ritual around that. Like, I'm really ready to let this go so that something new can come in. And the South Node being there brings a sense of ease, actually. It's not about hard, it's about like, oh, it's a relief. Like, it's kind of like I see this as a pattern that it is, and there's a sense of relief in being able to just let it go and have that be complete so that something new can come in. May 10th, we've got Jupiter moving into Aries for a short little stint in Aries, and then it's going to retrograde and go back into Pisces. But Jupiter in Aries, we also have Venus just moved into Aries at the beginning of the month on, I want to say May 2nd. Yep. So now you've got, Venus, what we love, what we value. Aries is like this fiery, inspired, goal-oriented, competitive, bold, assertive, like, this is what I want, this is what I desire. It's very like independent, go, go, go. So this like love and a little bit of a romance with our own will, with our own desires, with what we want to be in action around. And then Jupiter is hanging out there expanding that. So Jupiter feels like on a soul level, we're being blessed with a certain energy to grow something. So with Jupiter and Aries, it's growing our own sense of self. Like who do I really want to be? Who am I? What do I desire? And where do I want to be in action around that? So it's a really big energy around Aries. You know, be cautious around too much ego, too much me, me, me. It's all about me, right? That would be the shadow side of that, is being out of balance and kind of an over exaggeration of selfness, or selfishness. So, but keeping it in balance, it's actually not a bad thing to bring some self-love and attention to the things that you want to pursue and accomplish. Um, what else have I got for you guys? I will say that Venus is coming into a conjunction with Chiron, May 12th to May 18th that week. It'll be exact on May 15th. Chiron is about healing. Chiron has been in Aries for a while now, for like the last 3 years. So collectively in the universe, that Chiron in Aries is asking us to do some healing around our sense of self, right? Around knowing ourselves, self-understanding, self-love, self-awareness, and the ability to really stand in our own autonomy as adults, like with a sense of deserving to live your life, you know? Um, with so whatever those issues are for you, I also want to say that Aries does have to also do with rage, anger, violence. So for some of us, it may be that the Chiron moving in Aries is also a real look at our own anger, whether it is expressed explosively or in unhealthy ways, or whether that anger is something we've learned patterns in our life to repress and to not let out. And then what is the impact within our own body in terms of inflammation, in terms of, you know, resentment and depression, and how that, that conscious or unconscious ability we have to really be present to our own anger as information, as data about what doesn't feel right for ourselves and where our boundaries may have been crossed. So you might want to do some healing around that with Venus coming to sit with that in the middle of this month. Venus is about our relationships, our love relationships and romances, but also our friendships. And it may be a really nice time to look at, okay, if I haven't already done the healing around my sense of who I have been in a relationship, where like, because the Aries part is about me in this relationship, like what do I need to heal about patterns I've had in relationship in terms of who I am, how I express or under express, where I'm bold and assertive about my needs, where I don't express my needs, and any anger or resentment I have around relationship. So that might be a good time to look at that, heal that, maybe communicate in a compassionate way with yourself and others around those issues. Mars is moving into its own sign of Aries on May 25th. It's going to conjunct Jupiter. That might be a little bit of a wild ride. I would be a little cautious. Jupiter expands everything. Mars is fiery and go, 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 and impulsive, and sometimes a little reckless, especially in its own sign of Aries. Be careful of burning yourself. Be careful of fires. Be careful of accidents. I would just be a little extra cautious around those days at the end of May, because there's a real like now, and we get a little careless sometimes. So just bringing a little extra care and caution to that. The very end of the month, on May 30th, there's a new moon in Gemini, with the moon in Gemini. I think we'll talk about that more when we go into June, but that'll be a nice invitation into this Gemini energy. Gemini, actually, the sun moves into Gemini on May 20th, so happy birthday to all my Gemini friends. Gemini can be very flighty and a little ungrounded. So we come from this very grounded month of Taurus, and then we move into this airiness, right? So you may want to use the eclipses during Taurus month as an opportunity to also, again, get reset and around what helps you feel grounded and secure. so that when we start getting into that a little bit hyper mode of more movement, more travel, more thinking, more curiosity in the mind, we also have strategies and we know what is our safe and secure place where we can come back to, feeling really solid. Um, all right, you guys, that's what I have for you this month. I wish you the best. Reach out if I can help you with anything. And happy spring, guys.